Hey, so I just got back from Europe, and let me tell you, European coffee shops are totally different than I thought they would be. And I kind of love it. But first, my name's Jimmy, and if this is your first time coming across one of my videos, hey, what's up? Now we gotta come up with like a super dope secret handshake. Oh, that's so stupid. If you didn't know, I'm super into specialty coffee, and in planning a trip to Europe, I knew that I had to hit as many shops as possible. Honestly, a lot of people told me that I probably wasn't gonna find good coffee shops, and so for me, I'm like, all right, challenge accepted. Let me show you what's up. Let me work my magic. If I could crack my fingers, I would've done it right there. I'll go out on a limb and say that if you're into specialty coffee and you're visiting any touristy area at all, there's most likely one baby little specialty shop with a barista inside just waiting and hoping that you'll walk in and ask for a single origin espresso. I'm saying this from experience. I travel a lot, and everywhere I go, I'm always trying to find new specialty shops, and I feel like I'm in like this video game. I've just like unlocked a new area, kind of like Assassin's Creed or something, and there's like a little wizard inside, and he's like,
"Good job, Jimmy. Here's your next mission."
Also, big caveat with this video in particular. I'm talking about European coffee shops, but mainly the ones that I had experience with in the cities that I was at, so that's Paris, Florence, Bologna, and Rome. I really would love to go back soon and visit more shops, but for this trip, that's all that I had time for. All right, so in order to keep all my thoughts on track, I came up with a really catchy acronym. You're gonna wanna write this down. It's CHBV. 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 That's cafe culture, hospitality, beans and brews, and vibe. Hence the name, CHBV. All right, first up, cafe culture. Straight up, one of my favorite things about European coffee shops is that it's meant to slow you down. It's actually really similar to bar culture, meaning you come inside, you order your drink, sit down, chill for a while. Totally different from the American fast-paced go, go, go culture. I need 5 drinks to go, 1 with almond, 2 with oat, 1 skim, 1 regular. I'm already running late for my meeting, so I need to get them 10 minutes ago. Okay, thank you very much. Because of this slow down culture, I was able to talk and hang out with so many amazing baristas. We talked about so many different things, like their experience running a specialty shop in a more traditional coffee market, more on that later, and what it's like to try and bring about change in that area. We nerded out on brewing techniques, favorite roasters, James Hoffman, because he is just iconic and worldwide. And the coolest part is that everyone was super stoked on just getting to talk about what we love about coffee, and not in like a pretentious way. Sorry, my ears must be broken. Did you ask what the difference is between a cortado and a macchiato? Okay, I'm being dramatic, but seriously, sometimes I feel like I walk into a coffee shop and I ask a question and I'm like, no, I totally know what an anaerobic natural Colombian tastes like. Pfft, who doesn't? This guy might not, but I do. And sure, you can find baristas like this everywhere, but in a culture where specialty isn't the norm, there's this eagerness and excitement to talk about what makes the coffee we brew and drink so special. And I love it, which perfectly leads into the next letter of CHBV, which is hospitality. Now, this came as such a surprise to me, but at almost every shop I went to, the owner was there, either working the bar, serving customers, or just walking around and seeing if people need anything and how things were going. And that's how I met Jacopo, the owner of Fluid Coffee Bar in Florence, Italy. If you want to learn more about their shop, definitely go check out this video right here on my TikTok and Instagram. Spoiler alert, they have a self-serve coffee bar, which actually shows people how to make their own coffee at home. So dope. Another thing is that as a content creator, I always get really self-conscious about asking people if I can film in their shop. And so you can imagine that in a different country, my anxiety level was at like 1,000. But thankfully, everyone was so kind and actually excited that I was gonna tell their story. This is gonna sound dramatic, but there was this like bond that I felt with every barista that I came across. It was almost like, wait, dude.
You get it.
It was almost like I gave them permission to be extra nerdy about the thing that they love doing, and it was awesome. Perfect example, while I was in Rome near the Vatican, I actually came across this coffee shop called Pergamino Cafe. And there were these 2 amazing baristas, Octavio and Daniele. They were so passionate about making specialty coffee more prominent in Rome. So this was my favorite shop for 2 reasons. Number 1, whenever I walked into the shop, I literally felt like I was being greeted by like 2 friends that I'd known forever, or like 2 strong college years where you have your formative friendships, you know what I'm talking about. And number 2, they were always so willing to help. Whenever I go to a new shop, I like to ask the barista what they've been liking depending on what I want to get. If I'm really in the mood for espresso, I'll be like, hey, what options do you have in espresso and what are you really liking right now, because they dialed it in. And I have definitely been in shops not gonna name any names, where I've walked in, asked that question, and the barista might as well have just been like, I don't know, dude, they both taste like coffee. Let's just order, come on. Octavio from Pergamino really explained to me what he liked, why he liked it, and which he would recommend to every type of customer. So if you like darker, more developed notes, you should go with this one. And if you wanna try something fruity, try this one. And if you want something a little bit more complex, this is the one for you. Literally, it doesn't have to be the best coffee description in the world. I just wanna know what I'm ordering and if I'd even like it. Lastly, and this is gonna sound really bougie and it's not meant to be, there were no busing stations there. Anytime I'd finish my drink, I'd pick it up and I'd be like, where do I take this? And the barista would look at me and be like, whoa, hey, put it down. Dude, don't even worry about it. I got that. What did you think? Did you enjoy everything? What was your favorite part? All of it? Now, I'm not saying that busing stations are bad. I obviously can see the benefits. I can see where they're helpful in a really busy cafe. This was just one extra part of hospitality that I really loved about the European shops that I went to. Anyways, on to the third point of CHBV, which is... You got beans and brews. Yes, fist bump, handshake. This is probably the one that you are most curious about if you're going to Europe. So if you didn't know, the most common roast profile that you'll see in a typical European coffee shop is what's called traditional, meaning they're darker, bolder roasts. So if this is something that you're into, this will be something that's really easy to find across all the cafes in Europe. But for me, I typically like lighter roast profiles for a pour over and more like medium to a lighter medium for espresso. Now this isn't impossible to find, but unless you go out of your way to find a specialty shop, your most typical option for coffee will be those darker roasts. Interestingly though, the specialty shops in Europe do a really good job at catering to every type of coffee drinker. Meaning, yes, there will be medium and lighter options available, but what they typically serve is that traditional, darker, bolder roast profile. The mentality is we want every type of coffee drinker to walk through the door. It doesn't matter if we like what you like, we will provide it the best that we possibly can because we just want you to understand the value in specialty coffee. And I love this mentality because it's literally about people first. And I feel like we've gotten into this really weird rhythm or mindset in specialty shops where we've just decided that lighter is better. It's like, oh, hey, I'm making some coffee. You want some? Ooh, is that a dark roast? Yeah? No can do, brosif. I only drink specialty coffee. Light roast or die, bruh. Oh. Okay. Getting litty for light roast. Sorry about that. But seriously, when did we decide that lighter is better? I actually think that a more developed bean for espresso can be better than a lighter Ethiopian. Easier to dial, pairs better with milk, can have richer, fuller flavors. But, big caveat here, I will say that a lot of places just roast their beans until they are nice and crispy. And the espresso will have notes of like tobacco, sludge, and dirt. So, of course, I checked Google and went to the highest rated non-specialty coffee shop in Rome and had to give their coffee a try, just so you don't think I'm this altruistic barista. And this was my reaction. Ooh, all right, we're gonna try it. Grazie. Bruh. All right, last thing I'll say about roast profiles is I do think that there is a right way to roast darker. Specialty shops do a really good job at methodically roasting so you still have a nice flavor profile. If you want me to do a video on roasting specifically, let me know in the comments. All right, another thought about brews in Europe, and it might not seem very important at first, but it's actually the water. Water has a huge impact on flavor. No matter where you go, the water will taste different. If you're like me and you drink tap water, first of all, we're built different, so yeah, congratulations. Second, I'm sure you've noticed that tap water tastes different everywhere you go. So unless you go to a shop that specifically mineralizes their water for coffee, you will most likely taste the flavor of the water in all of your brews across Europe. Okay, now probably my favorite thing about coffee in Europe is, drumroll please, at any shop you go to, you can actually order, I was still doing the drumstick, you can actually order a single or a double shot of espresso. I mean, right? All right, let me explain. Okay, so quick espresso lesson. This is a bottomless portafilter. You can see. And this is what's called a spouted portafilter. Now, for the sake of simplicity, and just go with me here, anytime you go to a coffee shop and you order a shot of espresso, you are getting a double shot. Okay, you see the air quotes? Let's keep it simple, all right? Keep it simple. If you're pulling shots on a bottomless portafilter, that means all the liquid that comes out will go into one glass and it's gonna be pretty hard to split into two. But the spouted portafilter can take the exact same amount and split it into two smaller portions. So why is this important? Again, let's just keep it really simple and say that espresso everywhere just costs $4 even. Now you can actually walk into a shop, order a single shot of espresso for $2. For a guy like me who's trying to hit up as many coffee shops as possible, this becomes a really great deal because I can walk into a shop and be like, I'll just take a single of this. I just want to try a little bit instead of spending $4 every shop I walk into. This can also be really great for caffeine management because now you have the option to walk into a shop and just have half a shot of espresso, right? Air quotes again. Let's keep it simple. And of course, yes, you can do this in the US, but it's not a typical option. So anytime I actually walk into a shop and I'm like, hey, can I get 3 shots of espresso? Sorry, no, we only do double shots. Moral of the story, big fan of getting the option of double or single shots. I think we need to see more of that in the US. Now for the final category of CHBV, and this is really important if you like to spend your day in cafes, is vibes. This category is my one sort of negative. Something that coffee shops in the US have gotten really, really good at is creating an atmosphere for you to want to hang out at. These are those Instagrammable shops that you can spend all day in. They've got tons of plants, natural light. They've got a lo-fi playlist in the background. Just cozy up. I can hang out here all day. I want my house to look like this, right? They might not even have the best coffee, but you just go there for the vibe. This is something that a majority of the shops that I saw overseas didn't really have. I'm not saying that this makes or breaks a shop, but there really is something about a visual aesthetic that draws you in. So for me in my process of looking up coffee shops, especially here in the US, what I do is I Google search specialty shops in city. I look at pictures, look for reviews, I go to their Instagram, and that kind of helps me make my decision as to where I'm going. But in France and in Italy, it was a little different because the Instagram wasn't really this like super trendy feed. The pictures on Google weren't, you know, the cutest things in the world. So I really went based off of what baristas recommended to me and based off of some of the reviews that I saw online. Now don't get me wrong, I definitely came across some cute trendy shops. Kawa Cafe in Paris is one that comes to mind. I'm just saying that it's not as common as it is in the US. So if you're expecting to spend all day at a coffee shop, that's gonna be really hard to find whether it's specialty or not. Actually, if you're in Rome, Fado Cafe is one shop that is doing an amazing job at setting the atmosphere and providing amazing coffee. While I was there, I got a Rwanda on espresso and pour over and a natural Ethiopian that was just chef's kiss. So in conclusion, I loved my time in Europe and I had some amazing coffee while I was there. If you're visiting France or Italy, specifically Paris, Rome, Florence, Bologna, I have a list of all the shops that I went to, my favorite ones with pictures, addresses, a little description, all on my website. So make sure to go check that out. That link is in the bio. If you're not following me on Instagram or TikTok, definitely make sure to do that at Jimmy the Barista. There I make reviews on products, coffee shops, I put up brewing recipes for you to try at home, which speaking of recipes, if you have an AeroPress at home, you might wanna check out this video where I do what I would consider my best attempt at a competition recipe. All right, thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Peace.